Okay, I'm assuming we have quorum. Does anyone disagree? No. We have quorum. Great. All right. The Board of Directors acknowledges that the University of Waterloo is on the traditional territory of the Neutral, Anishinaabe, and Haudenosaunee peoples. Our organization operates on the Haldeman Tract, land promised to the Six Nations, which includes 6 miles on each side of the Grand River. We do not have a student story today. We have minutes of the previous meeting. I will ask for a mover and a seconder on the approval of the minutes of the last meeting. We have a mover from Alex. Do we have a seconder? And a seconder from Chevin. Is there any discussion of the minutes as presented? Any corrections? Anything along those lines? Okay, seeing none, I'll call the question.
Sorry,
Oh, sorry, we have a Jeff. I'm sorry, Jeff. The screen is very far over there. Jeff, what would you like to say?
Apologies, this isn't really about these minutes, but I wasn't sure where else to bring this up. I was wondering if the board would be receiving the minutes of previous board meetings for approval, because I don't think we've approved any minutes since maybe December.
Would anyone care to speak to this or have any information? All right. Thanks, Mike. Any further discussion before moving to a vote? Great. Seeing none, let's take the vote on approval of the minutes as presented. All in favor? All abstentions? Any against? All right. I think that was unanimous. Unanimous, that's the word. Okay, let's move on to recognition of main board priorities. So as far as I understand, these have come from the transition meetings that we had going on a few weeks ago. And for your highlighting, they are the long-range planning, accountability for board and organization, and building strong advocacy positions and processes. That should be something to consider as we move forward for the rest of the day. Let's move into the agenda approval. You have the agenda before you. I would request that you also consider the addition of 3AC, motion there, because I did introduce it late. So if you're uncomfortable with that, let me know. Do we have any comments on the agenda? Everyone okay with that there? Very good. All right. Well then, I will move for the approval of the agenda as presented. Can I have a seconder, please? Thank you, Alex. Any opposed? Any abstentions? And seeing none of those, I think we are in unanimous there. Does anyone have conflicts of interest to disclose for the upcoming motions? Anything at all? Nothing fun? No one's got fun conflicts? Nothing strange? Okay. Well, seeing none, we do not have items on the consent agenda. So we'll move on to new business. All right. Our first motion on the floor today is one that came up recently-ish because of my own oversight. But you have the full text here, and the motion is roughly as presented. You can look at that more specifically. We can go into detail. Would you prefer, given this is the first one, and I don't know exactly how WUSA operates, would you like me to read out the text of the motion?
Why not?
Okay. All right. Title. Establishing the Academics Affairs Committee as a standing committee. The issue we were seeing, campus student leaders lack a sufficient body to disseminate and discuss student-facing policies pertaining to academics and co-op, resulting in weaker university advocacy, misinformation, and insufficient student consultation. There is no body within WUSA that holds connections to undergraduate senators. The 3AC was established in the 23-24 governing year. Only one meeting was held without collecting feedback from committee members. Committee's potential was not explored, and no new solution to the issue was known to be pursued. As in the terms of reference state, that WUSA Academic City has developed and implemented a commensurate mechanism to receive from and disseminate to the student societies and undergraduate senators information on student needs and issue. Details. 3AC was established with the intent to bring student societies, senators, and WUSA closer together and prevent an incident similar to those of the renege policy changes of spring 2023. This committee would be supported by WUSA advocacy while placing value on the opinions of the elected student leaders who interact directly with the university stakeholders. The recommended motion was, whereas the Academic Affairs Committee is an active ad hoc committee, and whereas the current terms of reference for 3AC state that dissolution, the committee will terminate at such a time as the WUSA advocacy has developed and implemented a commensurate mechanism to receive from and disseminate to the student societies and the undergraduate senators information on student needs and issues. Be it resolved that the board approves the establishment of the Academic Affairs Committee as a standing committee as defined by the board policy manual. Be it further resolved that the board policy manual section 4.6 to be included to amend, be amended to include 4.6.6, the Academic Affairs Advisory Committee with the following wording. The Academic Affairs Advisory Committee, which shall hold discussions of the university academic co-op policies and plan advocacy initiatives to be facilitated in alliance with campus student leaders. Be it further resolved that board assigns the governance committee to update the terms of reference of 3AC, which should be accompanying the motion somewhere, to reflect changes in the purpose of the committee and the new status as a standing committee, including WUSA advocacy staff as resource members. Going back to the main part of the agenda. All right, just gonna take a breath for a second while I find where I put my agenda. How did I immediately lose this? Wow, I'm great at this. Okay. Did I click a button? Oh, I'm so sorry, everybody. Where'd you go? Oh, wait, screwed this. Oh, you have it up there? Thank you. All right. So I'm moving this motion, and I would move that we go for this. This is the text of the motion again, right? All right, I'll move this. Can I get a second for this before we begin discussion? All right, Alex is willing a second. Okay. If you have things to say, you can add a 1 to the chat. If you would like to reply to something somebody else said, add a 2. I would prefer not speeches, but rather conversation. So if you have multiple points, one at a time, please. And I will be trying to keep track of speaking order. All right. Is that a 1 or a 2, Jay?
Raise our hand.
Yeah, can we reach that one?
Yeah, 1, 2, that's fine. Type in chat.
1.
Jay?
I don't think I can start with the 2.
Kevin, do you have anything? Okay.
I was just wondering, the link that's, like the one that's linked to the motion is the one that's most updated.
I suspect so. There were no changes between the draft and the final one, other than I think including the terms of reference. We'll start with Aria, who was the fastest one to talk.
Yes, all right. Thank you. By the way, look how well you guys are all dressed today. This is my off day. This is what I'm going to say. Next time I'll be more fancy. Just a point of question. I think this is really good. So this ad hoc committee, just to clarify, any decisions it makes comes to board for approval, right? Before they are officially made as stances.
If you don't mind, I can reply to that. Yes. Any stances coming from that would be as usual as any other standing committee would be.
Awesome.
Yes.
All right, then I endorse.
Jay, you're next on my list. Yes, this is great. Just a quick question. One, why undergrad senators are non-voting?
Okay. Do we? Okay. I feel like I'm answering a lot of questions here.
Why the undergrad senators, why they're non-voting members on this committee?
I'll speak to it again. It's my motion. The short answer is it's using the terms of reference that were compromised to when the ad hoc committee was set up, and that was the decision that was came to at the time. They're non-voting members because Senate is at length from WUSA, so they're not really elected in the same way. I'm not 100% sure either. Sorry?
Yeah, it is.
Nope.
That's not on.
I got tech support.
Shivan, I have you next.
Usually should be.
Did you have
I messed this up before.
I'll pause for a second as technical issues happen. Don't worry. It should be
That one is.
Sorry about that.
It's funny. I'll plug it back in. Yeah.
Shivan, I have you next on the speaking order.
My question was similar to Jay's, so.
Okay. All right. Does anyone else have something to say?
Yeah.
Jay again.
I don't remember we as a term of references. We set under the senators as non-voting.
I don't think, unless maybe Jeff remembers this as well, or Matthew A. or Shevin, do you guys remember if we had senators set to non-voting? I feel like they were voting.
They will.
They were not?
No, they never were. Okay. Given no one else feels like speak. Oh, Jeff has a reply. Jeff, what would you like to say?
Oh, I was just responding. No, the terms of reference haven't.
Never mind. Okay. Sandra.
Thanks. I was just going to offer just a comment. Because it is a standing committee of WUSA, you have the ability to decide whether you want them voting or non-voting. Nick, you're bang on, usually with arm's length. You want to be careful if they have voting capabilities. If you do decide you want them to have voting, then I'd like to see that you make sure that there are more WUSA members on the committee than the senators. So
Yeah,
it's an option for you if you want to consider it.
The two, so I can talk to it. All right. Well, I'm next on the speaking order. Yeah, that's probably a very good point. And that's something that's very challenging to do because the number of senators fluctuates quite wildly. It's probably a benefit to not have them voting for the sake of complications, because the number of senators changes. Sometimes you get grad senators, sometimes you don't get grad senators. So it's probably fine. The important point is communication. Maricini, would you like to be?
So if there's no other undergrad senators that are non-voting members in other committees, should be fair for this one as well, I guess.
Sorry.
There's no other senators that vote in other committees, like.
Not in their role as senator, no.
Okay, then it should be fine. Yeah.
Any further discussion before we move to a vote? All right. Then we'll call the vote. All in favor? All right. Any against? And do we have any abstentions? Sorry, I got stuck on the word. Abstentions. All right. The motion is passed. I think we are moving on to informational items, which, first of all, we're going to have a wonderful discussion brought about by Aria. And as a result, I'm going to make Aria talk about it. Aria, read your motion, please.
Yeah, so I kept it on purpose really short. All this motion is to talk about the vacancy that has been created on our board. So since Daniel Wang was removed in the last AGM, or technically not appointed to the position, we have one extra vacancy. So in this situation, board has a couple of options it can take. First of all, we don't have to do anything. That's important to recognize. Board does not need to make any action. Board can just continue to function as it is. What I would recommend is for us to do something. I would say there's two options. We can run by-elections or we can make an appointment. I wouldn't personally say by-elections would be a good idea because it's complicated, takes a lot of resources. So I would be pro pushing an appointment process. Then if that's up to board to decide, I would recommend we set out a group of criteria for who we want to represent the organization. You know, somebody who can bring underrepresented group perhaps, or who has experience perhaps, or something with that respect. Nominate, and then following board meetings we can vote on it and make an appointment process if board wants. But generally, I thought it would be a good idea for us to discuss it a little and see what people's ideas are, what they want to do. So we have this in there so we can resolve it and move on. But again, we could do nothing. We could run a by-election, or we can make an appointment. That's it for me. Others who want to speak are more than happy to. You guys are muted. We can't hear you on our side. I was wondering what was happening. I couldn't hear anything.
Am I good?
Yeah.
You can go again, Alex. Thank you.
I like the idea of not doing a by-election. That's all. So good. I would also say maybe in our previous board, we did not fill our empty seats. So as of right now, I am also probably leaning towards not necessarily filling it, mainly because we didn't need to. It wasn't necessary, and we got on just fine. That's the point I see. So I'd be curious if anyone would like to make the argument that we should fill, maybe why we want to fill.
Ones and twos, please. All right. Jay is first up. Jay, you got two?
We had actually 2 members who dropped the board last year, so we were 2 members short. Now we're only 1, so we're fine.
2. I have a 2.
No, I think you're 1.
I agree with what Alex and Jay said. I just want to also remind us the challenges we faced hitting quorum for our committees. Also, it's a lot of work. The absence of one board member is a lot. So I also am against the idea of a by-election, but if there's another way we could fill the spot, I think that's also something we could consider, in my opinion.
Okay, I have Jeff next. Sorry, you two.
Thanks. Yeah, I guess. I would also say that saying that I guess we managed just fine with we could have definitely used a bit more capacity, I think, last year with what Chevin pointed out, with half committees not meeting quorum. We didn't really accomplish a lot of what we set out to do. Not to say that necessarily might have occurred with additional a board member, but I think the question here is, I guess, what benefit do we think we would gain from filling this vacancy? Alex pointed out that last year we chose not to fill that vacancy, but to provide the rest of the board with a bit more context, I think the decision and conversations around that. I believe we never. Sorry. Could I motion to move to confidential session?
Can I have you on the end of the speaking list for that one?
Yeah.
All right. Next, I have Mary Cheney for New Point.
I just wanted to ask though, in terms of filling the spot, the amount of work as board we do. So if we don't end up filling the spot, we could always equally divide the work, and kind of do it equally. But at the end of the day, we already given so much on our plate. So I think it's best if we do fill the spot, just so that work gets done rather than being pushed away. You know what I mean?
I have Teresa next for New Point.
2 things on my mind. Number 1, and membership of the sub-societies here can correct me if I'm wrong, but we are, in this term at least, we are running NSHOC executive elections. I believe ASU is running their BPA elections, and there very well may be a referendum incoming. And so I would be cautious of calling a by-election when we're still kind of coming off of the WUSA elections, as well as Arya's appointment, because there will definitely be some amount of voter fatigue, and that makes me skewing the results a bit. And the other thing I wanted to add was, with regards to filling this vacancy, I do feel like that ship has kind of sailed in terms of us having already done our training. We're already kind of moving into things like long-range planning and committee assignments. And there's definitely a lot of catch-up that the new member would have to do that, again, as others have alluded to, we kind of already have limited bandwidth as it is. So I don't know if at this point in time, if you had asked us this maybe several weeks ago, I would have said otherwise, but I do believe at this point that ship has sailed.
I have Fatima next for a new point.
I point to her, Teresa's points. I don't have anything.
I have Sarah for a new point.
I was just wondering, in terms of appointment of a person to fill the vacancy, what pool would we choose from? Like, how would we make that appointment?
Yes.
So that's the question. Anybody wants?
Anyone?
I'll take.
Arya should answer. Yeah.
Alright.
About the motion.
I'll take it if you guys don't mind. Yeah, I mean, Mr. Chair, do I have the? I gotta get your permission from Chair before talking. Mr. Chair, can I answer the
Oh,
question?
yeah. I'm assuming you're doing a direct reply to Sarah here.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Good. So, you know what? The pool could be anyone. Any person who pays the fees of our association is eligible to sit, pretty much on the board. My recommendation would be, because yes, you know what, the person probably did miss training, and I'll be honest. So my recommendation would be then to pick somebody who we know has some prior experience. Then that might make things a little easier on the board. And I think that could be people who have experience in societies or so on, or individuals who have previously sat on boards. But you know, that would be the best choice for appointment. But certainly you could appoint anyone from the student body who pays our fees.
Just if you don't mind me replying there, I'm agreeing somewhat with Arya about a relevant pool. I might like to see individuals who've already met a nomination threshold in the past and consider those nominations to be still somewhat in effect in some way, at least for the purposes of students have approved them at one point in time. They're likely to already be comfortable with them. I don't know exactly what that looks like, if it's the individuals who ran in the election where we were all appointed, or if it's individuals who have run in a preferred election, something along those lines I would be more comfortable with. But what I would be uncomfortable with would be us picking specifically people, especially if they've never run in an election before. I'm thinking an outside member of the organization is a potential choice. Someone who's already showed intent in the past and already gotten student approvals is important. Teresa, I have you for two.
With regards, again, to be clear, I still think that we should move forward with the vacancy, but if we were to go forward with a by-election, I would also caution the board against, number one, limiting our pool to those who have been previously nominated. It makes sense practically, but because I feel like because we already did that with Arya's VP nomination, I don't want us going down that rabbit hole of selecting from existing pools of candidates who are kind of within that WUSA governance bubble already, if that makes sense. That's all. If I said two things, change it to one. It was one thing.
That's fine. Jeff, we're back to you. If you'd like to move us into the confidential session, you may attempt to do so.
Sorry, I think the discussion has moved on, and we have some good discussion going on. I don't want to go through the procedural hassle.
All right. I have exhausted the speaking list. Does anybody else want to say something about this one? We don't have to vote or anything.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I'll say one thing to close it off.
But like physically, okay. Arya, what's
Sorry.
up?
Awesome. So I'll just close it off then. And then if you want to just to close it off, and then if you want to take a quick informal, I say this vote of what we want to do. So if people who want to keep it vacant, straw poll. That would be excellent, and then we can go from there.
All right. So the options for the straw poll, from what I can tell, are you can say, we do nothing. We have appointment. And we have a by-election. Are there others that people would care to see in our straw poll? Are there some that you would like removed from the straw poll?
Maybe an election.
You like the by-election removed, or?
Yeah, just do the appointment.
All right, does anyone actually want a by-election? Because I think we got Teresa by-election.
No, I want to say something about that.
Okay, Teresa, what's up?
Again, I am team vacancy. However, if not vacancy, I would prefer by-election because again, we already appointed Arya. I don't really want us to appoint a person to the board a second time. I feel like while we can make notes and whatnot available online, it still kind of creates that notion of lack of transparency. And whenever we can involve students in the democratic process, I believe that we should, but still team vacancy.
Shivan, did you have something to add?
No.
Okay. Well then, Emma, do you have something to add?
I agree with Teresa, but if we were to appoint, why can't we just like go down the list of like the voted, like, you know, for our directors? Like there were people who just barely didn't make it. Why wouldn't we like go down that list and see who's like wanting to?
The person who like placed sort of on 13th.
Yeah. And then if they want to do it, then yeah. And then like if not, then the next person down. Like I still agree with Teresa that vacancy makes the most sense to me. And then if not, a by-election, but.
Okay, cool. Do you mind if we run the straw poll as a approval thing where you just vote for as many as you want? Because it's about vibes, not about real numbers. And it's an effective way of finding out what people are most happy with. So you'll have 3 opportunities. I'll probably like to count hands in some way, and I'll let you know the results in a second, but we're going to talk about doing nothing, an appointment and a by-election, just to see where everyone's at. So if you'd be okay with us doing nothing, it doesn't have to be your first choice, just you wouldn't be mad about it, please let me know by a show of hands. Nothing is acceptable, which I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, and then online 5, 6. Did I count that? That can't be right. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
It may be better.
8. Let's do chat. Okay. Do chat. Thank you.
Reaction. Emojis. Reactions.
Yeah, reaction.
Okay.
Good idea.
Nothing. Appointment. And by-election.
You could send polls in teams, can't you?
Oh, we have Matthew here as well.
It's too fancy. Just like
No, it's Maricini. This is a straw poll. This is about understanding what we should start with.
Sorry.
Are we doing 1 and 2 then? I love the 1 and 2. Currently, we're doing a by-election. And sorry, not a by-election. Currently, we're doing a straw.
Is there no vacancy by election or by appointment
Oh,
for the vacant board member?
yeah.
Just a second.
in case.
I think we have. Why do we have different numbers? You can click on multiple of these, right? You don't have to pick one.
Doesn't that skew the numbers a bit? Like now you.
No, because Teresa, it's about what people are okay with for a straw poll.
Okay.
You can click as many as you want. This is not a formal vote. This is what are you okay with happening? So click as many as you want or as few as you want.
So do we take the feedback from this and then go to the formal vote?
There's no formal vote for this
You
motion.
can only react to one thing at a time anyway.
One thing at a time. It
Because
can,
you can only have like one emoji.
Is there like three messages?
you have 3 messages.
Wait, never mind. I thought you meant like if we could react with multiple emojis.
No.
Sorry,
You're good.
that's my bad.
It's okay. It seems like very few people are for a by-election. Okay. Has anyone not been able to click on as many as they wanted to, or as few as they wanted to, before we move on? Everybody good? They clicked the buttons. Matthew, are you not in yet?
I clicked appointment.
You clicked appointment. You don't care about any of the other ones. That's fine.
I don't think a by-election is worth the time.
All right, cool.
Such a waste.
The rough answer is nothing. It was fairly okay. Most people wanted nothing. In fact, the majority of the board wanted nothing. And also the majority of the board would be okay with an appointment. But at the moment, we're looking towards nothing happening. And most people did not want a by-election. Okay, are we good with probably not pursuing a by-election? I think if we're going to do a by-election, we should do one now. And if we're not going to do a by-election, we won't do a by-election. it's a bit of a straw poll. If somebody feels very strongly, I guess you could bring a motion forward and argue it. Jeff has something to say. Okay, Jeff, what's up?
All right. So if the conversation is between doing nothing or appointing someone, can we have some discussion around what the board would be looking to achieve by filling this vacancy? Like, what are some benefits that we think would come out of this? What are we aiming to do?
I'd say for voting purposes and anything, an extra person would be always helpful. Also, in terms of workload, would be pretty much divided that way. Anyone else can add on to anything else? Pretty good.
Aria, replying to Maricini.
I was replying to Jeff, sorry, but same thing.
That's
Just to answer it, I would say the benefit would really be you got one more hand on the team, so that means less work for everybody across the board. You can get more diverse views depending on who you want to appoint and what type of opinion you want to bring to the board. And those really bring that advantage of having we could have quorum in case situations occur where our large members may not show up to some committees, and that helps with ensuring that doesn't happen. But generally speaking, making a good appointment with somebody who can represent maybe even underprivileged voices or stuff like in that area, where we can make an appointment where we can make sure that we have more representation on our board. That's really the advantages of it. I would be honestly pro having members of board nominate individuals they believe are who can share these values and bring value to the board. They could be from pre-picked individuals who ran and lost, or from anyone in the student body. I personally don't really care in that sense. And board can make a decision if they want to go with an appointment to appoint that person and see what type of value they can bring to our board. But yeah, those would be the advantages in my book.
Cool. Teresa, you for a new point.
Yeah, Arya kind of already touched on it, and Kevin as well, but I also want to emphasize the importance of quorum. Again, I am team vacancy, but if we're asking about the possible benefits, I believe, and I guess past board members can correct me if I'm wrong, there were at least a couple of APC meetings that could not run because they did not quorum, which I feel like should be a concern for board. But that said, I'm still team vacancy. I feel like I need to keep emphasizing this because I find myself arguing for other things.
The only thing at the moment which seems to have very little support is by-election. So as long as you're not arguing that, it's popular. Any further discussion for now? It seems like in the future we'll be looking at whether or not to do an appointment or whether or not to do nothing. Further discussion for today? It's probably going to come up again, I suppose. Jeff's got more.
I mean, before closing off this conversation, if we do intend to continue this, what are the questions that we need to answer still? Like, obviously it's whether or not to proceed with an appointment, but what more information are we looking to get? Can we agree on what we're looking to do between now and the next board meeting in order to close this off or continue?
Mr. Matthew. Good point. Good point. Okay. Yeah. No one's replied to Jeff. Yeah. Good point.
Yes. I'm sure someone already mentioned it in the time that I wasn't here, but I think if we were to go the method of appointment, there's probably two main things that we want to look for. First being a previous board member, it doesn't have to be, and second being that they had intent to run or intended to be on this board. I think there's at least 4 or 5 people that meet that criteria, and it would mean that we don't have to do any extra training. It would mean extra help, and it means someone's already motivated to do good work in that role. So that's my 2 cents.
Okay. I guess, Jeff, I'll add myself to the speaking order as the responsible, which is 1. It sounds like to me, okay, let me actually set, please. There we go. Hey, Jeff, I kind of have a question for you, which is approximately, do you have specific ideas for questions that you'd like to see? That seems like a little bit of a leading question, and I'm interested to hear what you would want to see us try and receive before we would make the decision on another split.
Yeah, I guess to questions I'd probably want answered are, one, what are we sorry, let me rephrase. The first thing is really what would we, if we wanted to proceed with appointment, what would we be looking for in a board member? Why, I guess we feel that we should be looking for these things, like what purpose we're doing that justifies filling a seat without a direct democratic vote. And then lastly, which, if we want to delegate that to any body like the governance committee or another group, I mainly just want us to get some direction rather than sort of leaving this open-ended and then having it come back every meeting. Because as I think Teresa said at the start, like, we are somewhat on a timeline. We have relatively very short terms for board of directors, only 1 year. We'll already be down a month. There might need to be some time for training and onboarding depending on person. And we want long-range planning drafts in by January based on some informal discussions at retreat. And I think that's probably one of the main priorities of board this year. So a lot to do, especially in the first few months. I just want us to have some direction.
Yeah, I would comment that, well, I concur. I've lost my train of thought. That's fine. Okay. I have no one else in the speaking list. If we're ready to move on, just to highlight Jeff's point there, that the questions of the day. Oh, Mary Cheney would like to speak.
A new point. It's just with the two options that we voted with, I think if we do nothing, we just go ahead with everything since we've already planned out our committees, given our favors to what committees in terms that we would like to do. And say if we do bring on a new person, I think this person would just be given whatever's left for them. And they didn't have an option necessarily as to what they wanted to do. So that kind of brings a bit of a little, say, the tie, they wouldn't like it. So I think now I'm kind of leaning towards neutral. I don't know. It's vacancy and appointment. So it's a bit complicated in terms of the individual that we bring on.
Do we have anything else, or else I'll try to wrap us up on this conversation? All right. I think if you're a big fan of appointment, thinking about the questions Jeff brought up related to whether or not the governance committee should be handling things and whether or not it is valuable enough to pursue the process. Did I miss something? I think I missed something there. I'm so sorry. Okay. Is this topic concluded? I think this topic has concluded. All right. Next point in the agenda. And just actually, before we move on, I'm going to keep that saved, which is the results of the straw poll. Where'd the agenda go? Of course, I lost it again. We're moving on to discussion of long-range plan and first steps, which I am not involved with, so I don't actually know who to ask to talk about this one. I wasn't provided a document. Are we just talking like the previous one? Is that the goal here? I didn't put this on the agenda. Mike or Marvin, would you care to introduce this?
So this motion came up just so that there is some sort of idea of a direction. The couple options at hand are hiring a consultant and forming a committee. So consultant is something that we've done for each of the long-range plans in the past 3 cycles since we've been doing long-range plans. If Suzanne will confirm that, I think that that's the history that, as I understand it. And sometimes there is a long-range plan as well, long-range planning committee, or the consultant has worked directly with the president and executive director of the day. So there's a couple options there. This is my just introductory statement of what board would like to do. And Suzanne can talk to the logistics behind a consultant and how it's worked in the past.
All right. Would you like a direct reply, Suzanne? Suzanne, would you care to explain what has happened in the past? And I'd appreciate personally strengths and weaknesses, if possible. I know I'm adding things to your plate, but.
That's okay. We've gone through this process 3 times. The first time we hired somebody who was a previous PM or executive director of a student association to help us lead through that process. Did a lot of consultation, and it was a longer document. I think we wanted to look at a little bit more. I'm not even sure what the right words are, but we hired an external company that didn't really actually know anything about student associations for our second, and we had some challenges with their report and them understanding what a student association is and what our mission and vision and values were. So we had to sort of take what they did and kind of rewrite it. The last one, we hired a previous VP education to help support the process, and got partway through it and doing some consultation, and that person decided to step away from the process, and it then transferred from one year to the next. And I think part of the reason they wanted to step away was just because of the timing, and we were trying to push through the process to get it completed before we had finished the consultative full process. Trying to get it completed by the April 30th deadline. So that did continue to the next year, and the president at the time helped finish it. There was a long range planning committee for 2 out of the 3. I don't think there was one for the second one, but I'm not 100% sure. But for the first one and the third one, I can't remember. So I don't think there was. We did do a big session with staff. I remember that one, but I don't remember that. So the strengths and weaknesses, I think the strengths are to have an external company go and do the consultation with folks, because it's a lot of time and also a certain skill, I think, in terms of coming up with some of the questions. And I think the committee helps feed the questions and some of the scope and some of the things that students are potentially mindful of. That's sort of the that I can think. I would sort of suggest having somebody externally help support the process, just so that you can have that consultation and research done. Although the secondary piece to that would potentially be to add somebody internally to support it from a research perspective. Or we have to shift some priorities of what our research department could do. Yeah. So those are
cool. I think I'd like to speak to this a little bit. Being involved with other long-range planning activities, mostly outside of my role as WUSA president, where the main caution I would have here is I think it's probably still valuable for us to have a committee to set the objectives and the goals before we would go out and search for a consultant. So I don't think that these are necessarily mutually exclusive, but we probably should not start with the hiring of a consultant. We need to understand what we actually expect from them and what is important and what is valuable, and provide an outline before we go about that process. So I don't think even today is necessarily a great time to decide on whether or not we hire a consultant, but I am strongly in favor of having a committee formed sometime in the next meeting or two to go about that process of setting priorities, setting understandings, and determining, and then presumably recommending back to board whether or not exactly how they'd like to see the long-range planning process go. Aria, I'm done with my time. You can feel free to begin.
You're on mute, Aria.
on mute.
Happens a lot to me nowadays. I said I think it's actually a good idea to have a committee because board is very big for everybody to be directly involved. Now, if you want to bring a consultant on or not, and everything, that's the board's decision. I think it's good to bring a consultant if we know exactly what the criteria are. So I would actually like to move or ask permission to board to give us, and let's do it now, give us the ability to create an ad hoc committee to overview the long range plan. of the organization. Small committee, maybe we can put half of the board in it. No at-large members, and they can strategize of what we want to see, how we want to go about it, make recommendations, and then from there, we can even bring a consultant in if we know what exactly we want to see and have those discussions. But this speeds it up a little if we want to move forward with a committee.
Okay. So Aria, to just understand your plan here, are you trying to create the committee today?
I mean, if we're all on board, I know it wasn't planned. If everybody has no issues with it, just speeds it up.
Well then, to save the effort of explaining things, I will, I suppose, move to amend the agenda, which I think requires a 2/3 vote to begin discussion on a motion of forming a long-range planning committee. Does anyone want to second this? So this is just whether or not we discuss the motion today. Aria is seconding it. Okay. Does anyone have a discussion about discussing this? I hate Robert's rules. Okay. Roughly where we're at is Aria would like this motion to happen today. Are we okay with talking about this motion today, or should we delay it to a later point? That's roughly where we're going. Alex, your direct reply, and then we'll move to Maritini. Sorry.
I think it might.
Okay. All right. Okay, Sandra, would you care to stop just in case?
Nick, you are doing such a great job. However, just to give yourself some flexibility, you have to follow a parliamentary procedure. You don't need to follow Robert's rules to the nth degree. So if you do want to entertain conversation on it, just do it. You're fine.
Okay.
You're okay to do that. It'll make it much easier for you.
That's fine. Are we okay with that?
Yes.
Great. All right.
Teresa's
Normal conversation about this. It's a motion. Do people like the idea of a motion on Robert's rules? Sorry.
Yes, I will give you a motion on Robert's rules.
A motion on a committee. I have Alex, then Maritini, and Jeff at the end.
I was just going to say, I think it might be valuable to wait a little bit.
Yeah.
Give it some time. That's all I had to say.
Maritini?
Same. I think the long range plan does take time.
Okay.
We have a lot on our agenda right now, so.
And Jeff, you're one.
Oh, I was just going to say, like with the terms of reference in the committee and whatnot, should probably not be put together on the floor. But if we did want to discuss roughly maybe relevant, people should consider that if this committee is something we all feel strongly about, to take that into consideration when we vote on standing committee assignments, because that will affect people's workloads and attention. So something we could maybe entertain even is, I'll say it first, but is like decide. The most we should decide today is who should be on it, but we don't know what the membership even looks like. So.
Well, I mean, the lucky thing is it was one of the options in our poll. So you guys have already told me whether or not you wanted it.
Is it?
That works. So we can talk about that. Okay. Aria, I might suggest that we don't
withdraw.
Don't move it.
I've heard the room. I withdraw.
But I think the summary of the conversation is people would like to see it terms of reference, and they are interested in a long-range planning committee. And we should consider that it probably will exist sometime soon, so we should be considerate of this when we make other decisions.
Would it be an internal or external committee?
Internal long-range plan.
Okay.
Why don't you ask the governance committee to take a topic away and come back with post terms of reference? We don't even have a governance committee yet. Like, it's a good point, Sandra, but no one is on the governance committee yet to actually take the topic away. I'll leave a little note for myself, which is, hey, long-range plan terms of reference? Cool. Okay. We need them. Ready to move on to the next point of the agenda, I think? Do we already have a draft? Did Michael already make? I think it's fine. I think we're okay there, Mike, unless you feel strongly differently. That we have I think we could just have it added to the governance committee's first board meeting. Or sorry, first meeting of the committee to try and take this up. It can just be part of the agenda there. We don't have to be special and fancy about it. Okay, let's move on to the next part of the agenda, which I immediately lost my agenda again. How do I keep doing this? Do I even have a? All right. Mike, do you mind switching over the agenda? Thank you. Okay, a board work plan. Let's look at the board work plan. How are we doing on the work plan? We're 2 weeks in. I assume not much has gone on. I assume we all have seen this. Possibly not. That's okay. Do you want me to read this one out again?
Too long.
Too long.
Just summarize it.
Yeah, we're not voting on this one, correct? This is just discussing the current status. All right. Give us a quick summary if you don't mind, Mike.
Sure. Hi, everybody. This is my first draft of what the board work plan could look like. I anticipate that we will have the next 3 to 4 weeks to look it over, make it to a point that it is good with everybody. That work can be done sort of offline via comments on a live document, and then it'll be brought back here to be approved for the June meeting. We've sort of mostly hit all of the May points. I just sort of took them from the agenda anyway, but I integrated the pieces from the board policy manual to make sure that they were reflected here as well. Sandra had everybody do the activity, and I integrated some of the points on the general categories of work that the board can understand it doing over the next year. So some meetings are lighter, obviously September. I think that was by design by the people who originally drafted the board policy manual governance calendar, a lot of words, because the start of every term is expected to be a bit busy for everybody. But we get into different work definitely in the new year. So take a look at this offline. No discussion really needs to be had right now. It was more just the information item of showing it to everybody as it stands right now. Any questions? Seeing none, I'll hand it back to Nick.
We have one from Alex.
Sorry. Your picture on my screen is so small. Go ahead, Alex.
Okay. Sorry. Does the this just pops into my head? Does the commercial budget fit somewhere in there? Do we approve that?
I'll ask Suzanne. I think it was brought the meeting after the general budget last year, but I don't know what the timing is.
I just wasn't sure where that fit in. Yeah, like
In general, no, but
Okay.
last year was.
okay. Thank you.
Any other comments on the work plan?
And then it'll be good once it is passed because it can be shared and the public can understand what you work on as board members. So that'll be really good in terms of people getting a better understanding of what board is doing throughout the year. All right.
Cool. I guess we're moving on for now. Thank you for your hard work, Mike. Cool. Back to the agenda. Committee appointments. Here's where I'm going to talk for a little bit because you said a bunch of things. Once we fill in names, then we're going to attempt to pass this based off of how everyone is feeling. At large, I think we're leaving vacant for now because you should have received a mailing document, which I don't think everybody has voted in yet. But I have some starting points for you to consider when it comes to the actual director positions. The easiest one by far is elections and referenda, because we only had 2 people here who said they would be okay with it, and it's Zara. That's it. That's the easiest one. Everybody happy because that was done? ERC is complete.
Nick, sorry, can you say the names again?
Nicholas Feifel, Zara Allen are the only people who said they would be okay with it. So we're pretty much, unless people have specific objections, which why would you at this point? That one should be easy. Everybody happy?
Oh, wait, Jeff sent the.
Jeff sent a file. Oh no.
What's coming to chat on that? This is just a chat. Yeah. They keep saying file, except for.
Oh no. Okay.
He said, oh, me.
Jeff, you would also be interested in elections or referendum? Okay.
Sorry, I am perfectly happy to withdraw.
Okay.
I tuned out for 2 minutes.
The other ones are getting more complicated as we go on. Some of them, the nice thing is we had too few people interested. Those are the next set. I would jump down to ownership, which has 4 names that people said they would be okay with thus far. We had Maricini, Alex, Teresa, and Aria said that they might be interested in ownership. So that's 4 of the 5 slots. Is that correct? Also, tell me if you one of these surprises you because I recorded it wrong. What's up, Alex?
I'm surprised. Is my vote OCC or advocacy or both?
Oh, well, oftentimes, if you said you would be okay with both of them, I'd put down both.
I think it was. I think what I meant was either or.
Okay. Well. All right. And then for governance consultation for now, let's start with Teresa, Zara, and Matthew. For those 3 to begin with. I'll drop Alex from my list to start with.
For which one? For
governance.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry, ownership consultation. I screwed that up. I got that backwards. All right, I'm getting myself confused. Right. Okay. Hi. ERC, done. Ownership consultation. Is that not what it's called? Ownership consultation? Okay. So the names that I had was Bertini, Alex, Teresa, and Aria. Alex said he was not necessarily interested in ownership. I was to drop him from the list to start with. That leaves us with 2 slots for ownership. On to governance. We had 4 people who were specifically interested: Teresa, Alex, Zara, and Matthew. Sorry, Sarah and Matthew. Are you all relatively okay with that as a starting point? There are 5 slots on that as well, so there is 1 that remains open. ERC, we're done. We're not doing SLEP UAE today, are we? Nope, okay, we'll move on. Next we had APC, which we had quite a number of people interested in. So actually we had too many. APC is advocacy, yes. Advocacy positions. So we had 6 people for 5 slots there, but I might be willing to step back, which would give us 5 exactly. That would be convenient. Never mind, it's still 6. Okay, we go down from 7 to 6. That's fine with me. So to start with, Aria, Teresa, Sarah, Fatima, Matthew, and Alex.
If it's easier, you can put me on OCC.
It is easier.
Okay.
Bam.
Either or.
All right. So sorry to just constantly bump Mike around, but we have Alex at 4. OCC at 4, including Alex, and APC at 5, with Aria, Teresa, Sarah, Fatima, and Matthew. And then the one that has the fewest people so far was audit. I only had 2 people who were interested to begin with, and that was Matthew and Aria.
which
Audit. Oh. Kevin and Jay also would like audit. Oh, everybody wants audit. Great. Okay, so we have a couple of empty slots. If people are looking for them, in fact, actually, are all of them at the correct number? Pretty much. Wow, almost all of them are very close. They're so close. Yeah. All right. I'll start with governance, and then to refresh the room. Governance, currently I have Teresa, Alex, Sarah, and Matthew, which leaves one slot. So the ones that I think are complete, unless people would like to fight about them, are APC and ERC. Would you like to just?
I was thinking, I'm also okay doing audit, so can I do two of them then?
You can have multiple.
Yeah, so this two is enough.
2 is enough?
Yeah.
All right.
More.
No, I'm good.
More?
My plate's full and then
Okay. Well, then that would make audit and APC and ERC complete. That leaves 2 slots around: governance and ownership. Yeah. Oh wait, Emma, why do you not come up very much? Oh, because you were indifferent to most of these. Emma, what are you feeling like?
I'm down for both ownership and governance.
If
Like
everybody's
either
okay,
or both.
we can be done with that. If no objections, Matthew, what's up?
I also did not send in any requests.
Rose?
I only sent
Oh,
in anti
no.
requests.
Oh, great.
How are these?
There are some other ones that are good. Okay, let's get nittier grittier. Things will not be perfect. Let's get. Actually, I'll build a little speaking list. Okay, let's start with Jeff. Jeff, do you want to start us off? And I assume Matthew will want to speak next.
I'm open to sitting on governance or ERC, but I think ERC is good as is. So I guess yeah.
Jeff is also interested in governance. Okay. Matthew, did you have something to say?
Yes. If someone is on one committee and wants to be on more than one, I'm happy to withdraw audit committee for them to join. Nothing against auditing, but okay, so there's something against it. And then as another point, I do also nominate Jeff as a governance committee member.
Okay.
He was a very good leader.
That's nice to hear. Further discussion? Because I have more things to say. What is Teresa? Oh, Teresa's using chat. Okay, Teresa.
Yeah, that was the second one I put in chat. I'm just saying, I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but that was my second one. Sorry, I'm sorry for needling you. I did want to bring up, Nick, the reason why you might not be seeing as many names as you anticipate is because when you reached out to us, you actually asked for anti-requests.
Yes, because
some of us ignore what you said and just sent you our preferences anyway. So if you're seeing like, I think you said like, why is Emma's name coming up so infrequently?
Yeah.
It may be because she did what you asked her to.
Yeah, which matters more for external committees, which we're not doing today. But I very much am using anti-requests for external. But you're right. Yeah, that was my mistake. I'm sorry.
If Jeff wants to be on governance, I can give that over to him. He can take it.
Everybody's making my life so easy. Okay. I have to keep watching the chat. Jeff, I think is it Jeff? It's Jeff. Jeff is next in chat. Jeff.
I guess a question for Aria. I know that in the past, at least last year, there were concerns about workload for the VP. Considering you've nominated yourself for 3 committees, would you consider stepping back from maybe 1 or 2, or do you think that it's imperative? I guess my personal philosophy is with the officers having so many other duties, their time being very limited, I think it may be a good idea to not overload yourself. I think it's awesome that you want to be everywhere, but I don't want to see you burnt out or not able to split focus.
No, that's awesome. I'll be honest. I didn't remember picking audit as something I even wanted as well. But I was nobody's doing it, so whatever. The only really, from my consultation with Roy and Katie previously, the only really important committee for me to be on is the advocacy positions committee, because it literally sets the path what the work board wants me to do. But if anybody wants my position in the ownership consultation committee, I have no problem walking away and offering that to anybody who wants it.
Cool. Does anybody want Aria's thing on specifically ownership? Cool.
the ownership. That's why I'm just like,
Actually, do you want 2 seats on ownership?
oh, what's do I get more power?
No.
Okay, then that's no point.
I'm confused by what you just said,
Yes.
the file.
Yeah.
Why is my name in audit?
An audit? Is it? Ah, crap. Okay.
And why is Fatima in ERC?
I do have this better. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm so sorry. That's me not knowing last names. I'm bad with last names and I'm very embarrassed by this. So I'm going to pretend as though, is that the only mistake there? I only got you guys backwards once.
Do you remind me? I don't know. Other people might want to check.
Where is
So wait, Nick, what's left in terms of positions?
General chat?
Oh, no, because both of you were for APC at the moment. All right, great. Okay, sorry, hold on.
Wait, what's left in terms of positions?
They're all full, but they can be adjusted. All right, have Matthew, then Teresa. Matthew.
Okay.
But people drop them.
I would like to withdraw my audit committee position if possible. The reason why is because governance and APC typically have the highest workload, and I don't want to put 3 down and then not be able to actually do work on all of them. And if anyone's interested remotely, audit was overall a good experience, I'd say. Learned some things.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Sorry, your last name.
I don't like math.
All right. So audit, you weren't on audit.
I'm APC and ERC.
All right, good. Okay. Sorry, Matthew, you didn't want audit. Fatima, you did want audit.
Yeah, but his pitch kind of like.
Well, no, it was a really good experience. Suzanne's very helpful.
I guess I'll stay on with the board thing that's said.
Is there any director that's not on the board?
Is there any director that's not here yet? No, with the addition of Jeff, everyone is at least on one, I think. I'm just updating things so that I don't get confused with people's last names.
Just his first name.
Is he editing a table?
I have a spreadsheet that has all of the things because I'm also going to use this for external. Teresa, I know I have you on the speaking order and I've been ignoring you. I'm sorry. What's up?
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I don't think I want to be triple booked for internal committees, so I'm gonna pull out of OCC.
Oh.
Sorry.
Damn, is this me now?
So there's 22 open positions, so we should all have 2, roughly.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Who has 1?
I have one.
I have one. So what's open? Tell us what's open.
All right, hold on. I'm almost done updating to first names.
Why did you?
I think everybody's done 2.
I don't know why. I'm realizing that it's causing me to make mistakes, so I've stopped doing this. Jeff has 1 at the moment. Okay, let's try this again. I do have Aria on the speaking order, but I'm going to send you the update while Aria talks to see if that looks correct to start with, and then we can keep going from there.
Oh, beautiful. Look at this. Okay, awesome. I'm just going to say, Nick, don't you want any? Oh, you are on 1. Okay, good.
I have paces and PACOD to hold down by myself, so those are enough.
Okay, so we're just missing people. I was going to offload more, but like, whoever's on 1, guys, go on other one. Everybody, make sure you have 2 committees at least, so we can actually function. So you know who you are. Pick your committees.
Alex, you're next up.
I was just going to recommend Jeff for OCC, but he already went for it.
Okay. So Slef still open. Okay. Let me see how many people have 1, 2. We have 1 space in audit, Maricini, if you want that.
Oh. Sorry.
Okay. Great. That's fine. So ownership at the moment, just to talk this through. Emma, Maricini, Alex, Jeff, and Aria. Governance at the moment, we have Matthew, Jeff, Alex, Teresa, and Emma. ERC is myself and Sarah. APC, Matthew, Fatima, Sarah, Teresa, Aria. Audit, Fatima, Shivan, Jay, blank slot, and Aria. So the people who do not appear twice at the moment are Shivan, Jay, and myself, I think. And the other two are already on audit, so we can't have them twice.
Well, I don't appear twice either, but
Yeah, I'm sorry, Fred. I'm sorry.
but Arya, if you like take yourself out of one of them, I can probably take your position.
Okay, awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, literally. Listen, you want ownership consultation?
Only has to meet lowest frequency meeting.
She's already there.
Listen, is audit vacant?
Sorry.
There's an extra space in audit at the moment already.
Martini, go for audit. I mean, I'll leave anything you guys
Yeah,
want
something.
except advocacy, which I want to be on.
Oh, it's fun. We get straight to PwC, and then
Jay and Shivan, you're happy with just one?
Yeah.
where are the vacancies?
Currently, it's
There's no vacancies.
It's talking with Aria about swapping things around because he has 3.
Why can't you just drop two? Like
Take
one?
mine.
There's so much on his plate. Like he's a VP.
Yeah, I am. I would love to drop it if you guys would take one. Take mine.
Okay. For the audit committee, are we required to have VP on it?
I don't think so.
Team chat.
So
Drop governance. I'll take your governance position.
Like for audit, are we required to have VP to sit on
governance too?
Can you check term of reference?
No.
No?
But
No, not required. Or
Rory sat on audit last year.
Oh.
That intrigues you. Probably not.
Wow.
I don't like numbers.
You're an engineer.
You're an engineer. Yeah.
That's exactly why he doesn't.
Yeah, I don't like numbers. That's why I'm in engineering.
Rock, paper, scissors.
For who else is
I'll take your governance position.
Aria's already on audit.
I'm already on it.
Okay. Well, I hope this has been going faster than previous years.
It's way faster. Okay.
That's great. Okay. So, Maricini, you only wanted one. Aria, you're still at 3. Which one did you say you might drop for Maricini?
I would drop anything except advocacy position.
Okay. The only problem is the ones that you would drop for Maricini are also the ones that she's already involved with. Jay, do you want ownership at all to relieve Aria?
Maybe no.
Okay.
This is why I need to appoint someone else.
All right. That's if there's exactly 1 slot left, I'll sit on audit, and then we can be done with this process. I have to check the chat to make sure I haven't been missing people's 1s and 2s. Okay. I guess to make everybody's life happy, I will sit on audit, and then we can be done.
Can you send the full?
I will send the full list. Yep. Okay, let's sort things good. That's totally not how I do good sorting. Here. Cool. Okay. Those names are complete. What a joy. Yep, I'm sending them over.
My plans here were to take a 5-minute recess so people can vote in the form I sent around. And
You
we
also
could-
would like to do at large now?
It was just because I figured it'd be a nice like midpoint of the meeting around 7 o'clock
Okay.
if we got there. If
How do
people are
feel about
favorable
that?
to that, if not, then we can continue through.
I didn't know how to bring food. So sorry, everybody.
Get an email.
Was I supposed to send it? Okay, sorry, hold on. Okay, are we good with recess so people can look at the at-large people and make a vote on the at-large, and then we'll come back once that is complete to vote on the ratification of the at-large people and to confirm my little list that I've created and hopefully took less time than last time. Is everybody okay? I guess do I motion for recess or can I just say we're on recess? All right, let's take a recess for, how much time do people want to vote and get a snack? 15 minutes.
10 minutes.
10? We have to read this.
We have to.
We have to do a lot of reading.
All right, if we're doing both, let's do a lot of reading.
It is maximum 5 minutes of reading.
All right.
It is 5 minutes.
Let's do 15 then, because that's how long I will need. 15.
No.
So please return before 7:45.
We're going on
Which
recess.
I know is 20, but please return before 7:45.
7:40.
Please be here about 7:40. Do your vote. Amended, as Mike brings them up, I will have these amended to the motion, and I assume we can do that in a way where we don't have to worry about voting. for now. But we will highlight weirdness as it comes up. Yeah. Okay.
Does that ask you to speak?
So as Mike was saying, if they already have appeared on one of the previous committees, just in case we see somebody who comes up a lot. Oh, okay. I think Arya was commenting that 2 is pretty normal, but like 3 would have weird. For instance, our audit committee is completely new. These people haven't been up, but Haley and Nush were both on APC. I at least know that Nush would show up to these things, and I assume Haley would as well.
Painfully punctual.
Painfully punctual.
Is he watching the stream?
Oh, there's a WEEF meeting right now.
Oh, that.
Jeff
Yeah.
has been popping back and forth. Jeff is in 2 meetings right now.
My bad.
One of which is with Nush.
My bad. Okay.
And ownership is totally new. Okay.
The Engineering Endowment Fund Foundation is having their board meeting right now. So Jeff is there.
Yeah, Jeff is former director, big man, big shot at WEEF, so he's doing double duty simultaneous. You didn't realize that you were on both, or that you didn't realize you were the big man?
Double booked.
Oh.
It's chill.
All right, don't worry. It shouldn't happen that often, right? Haha. Okay. Let's do normal things. Is there any discussion about the names beyond normal, or are we ready to vote? Does anyone, I'm watching the chat just in case, but does anybody care to object to us immediately going to a vote? Oh, we have a question from Jay. That is normal.
I assume the name was a star.
Yeah.
It means they're sitting on both committees.
Yep.
We want to have more students involved.
I think it's fine. Oh, sorry. I should do normal things. I think it's okay. If there was 3, I would agree with you. 2 seems normal. Okay. Are we good to vote? Any more comments from online or in person? Questions from in person or online? All right. Can I get all in favor of approving the names, including directors and at-large members, as presented by Mike in the various locations over the past hour? All right. Can we get anyone against approving all of the names and all of the at-large members? And do we have any abstentions to the vote? Seeing none, I will assume that is unanimous, unless I'm wrong. I think that was unanimous. Did anybody say no? That was pretty collaborative. I hope there was no no's. Okay, cool. Let's move on to the next agenda item of our agenda. We have committees, everybody. Congratulations. I hope you're happy with the ones you have. And I will grin and bear it when it comes to audit. I don't like numbers, but it's okay. Let's move to the next part of our agenda, which let me pull that up again because I closed it during the recess. We are moving on to unfinished business. And seeing none, we're going to go to general reports. A little bit informally, Arya, would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first?
I'll go first just because mine is, I think, quicker. The report is there. Take a look, guys. If you have any questions, you could ask me now. You could always just message me. One update I'll give you is that right now with the work I'm doing with CASA, I had the opportunity to meet with their executive director. I met with all their staff. I did one-on-ones with everyone in the corporation, so it's good. Got some good notes. I'll present any important info that board needs to know in the next board meeting, as well as, my opinions on what we think we should do with federal advocacy as we move to re-look at this space. But besides that, yeah, lots of meetings, just meetings on meetings.
Cool. Teresa, you have a question for Arya.
Yeah, I noticed you highlighted, it does say it was a brief discussion, but just curious if you got a pulse on Bill 166 with Minister Dunlop by any chance, like any specifics worth noting?
No, but it's interesting. So this conversation happened during my transition. So it wasn't exactly like during May itself. I had the privilege of meeting her before at one of the WUSA dinners. Listen, we were just talking about the bill. The bill was pretty much just passed when I had the conversation with her. And they were very supportive of it. They wanted it. I was talking about, why the reasoning behind it was, look, with this government, I'll say this much. They're very hard on what they stand for and what they believe in. So there's not too much of a workaround with them, but there's certainly areas that we can approach them and get concession of them. They're much more open to giving concession on areas like mental health, giving concession areas like student support when it comes to academic resources and so on. They're less open to things like financial and so on. But again, it was a very brief discussion. A lot of my meetings this month and previously have been introductory meetings. We usually do those so the minister and the members of parliament know who I am, that I've replaced Katie, and then moving forward, they will be meeting with me and Nick to discuss any issues and situations that will be popping up. But yeah, I mean, it was very brief, just introduction and so on. She has really blue eyes. I'll tell you this much. She stares into your soul. You feel like you're going to melt. Very blue eyes. It was a key part of that meeting. But yeah.
Cool.
Get that on the minutes.
Yeah, let's get that very specifically. Aria thinks Minister Dunlop has very soul-piercing blue eyes. Cool. Anybody else? It's another Teresa question. Sorry. Aria, Teresa has a question for you. Teresa, what's your question?
Just like more of a high level thing than anything. There's definitely a lot of traveling in your report. What's your in-person availability for like the next couple months or so? Anything that we should know about your absences, how we can reach you?
That's an awesome question. So in my job, I like to say I'm a glorified ambassador because me and most of the VPs who do my job from other universities, we move, we travel a lot. I think this year I'll be doing a lot of traveling as well as we try to figure out our federal advocacy space. You could always, like Teresa, if you want to talk to me, you could message me anytime. If you want to book a meeting with me in person, the next time I'm going to be available for a real in-person meeting is going to be June. I would say middle of June, early middle June. I will be back in Waterloo until probably the 29th with the sheer amount of work we got up here. So, but listen, feel free. If anybody wants to sit down meeting with me.
I'm going to him. He's not coming back.
SA conference.
Yes, so I'm at CASA right now, if you guys don't know what that is, which is one of our federal, it's a group we're observing. Hopefully, we'll see where that takes us. But they're one of the federally facing organizations that lobbies behalf of students with the federal government, one of many that exist. If anybody wants to book a meeting with me, which I encourage because I love to talk, if you have any ideas, what you want to see, so on, send me a message and I'll book you in my Outlook. There's a decent wait currently, but I'll book you in anytime I have the chance. Yeah.
Any more questions for Aria today?
Where's your location at the moment?
What city is CASA?
I'm in Ottawa, the city of homelessness and politicians. It's beautiful.
Homelessness?
Yeah. Oh, there's so much. There's so
Teresa,
much.
again.
Just one more thing. What's your status on Town and Gown? Are you going to be there?
So no, Nick will take over this meeting Town and Gown. I'm going to be in Toronto doing some provincial work, which takes me away. I have some WUSA's elections are actually happening at that time. So I'll let you guys know how that goes and how we do on that front. But Nick will go and he'll give an update on anything that pops up.
Sounds good.
Cool. Teresa, do you have any more questions?
No, I'm sorry.
Think of one? Cool. Okay. Can I steal the screen for mine? I have a PowerPoint. It's a very short PowerPoint, but I have a PowerPoint. Am I allowed to do that, Mike?
Is this live?
I'm just going to assume I can. Yeah. Yeah. All right. I have to remember where that is in Teams. Oh, there it is. Share button.
Are we still doing the May board report, or are we gone to?
Oh, no. I'm doing my report,
Oh.
which is a presentation as opposed to a block of text. Share a screen window tab. Select window or screen. Here we go. Google Slides. Report of the president. I am sharing in Firefox. Let's see if this pulls up. Slideshow. Yeah. Okay. Hello. Welcome, everybody, to my brief report on things that I've been doing recently. The big way that I've been trying to think about things specifically is in the process of getting things done, where we're moving from building relationships with different people to talking to them about problems to actually going and solving those problems. Sometimes myself, sometimes with the helps of others. So there's been a couple things going on. Some of the fun ones, just like off the bat, some default things I was doing. The fun ones are generally in the praxis column here. One of the very first things I did is I went and I helped Sustainability Office plant some trees. In the past 2 weeks, we've done about 240. So that was kind of fun. Other things just around the SLC, some stuff with signage and with turnkey, minor electrical issues. One of the more fun things that we got done as well is I did a lot of translation from French to English to support efforts in the approval of the Dean of Arts process, which was its own fun little thing. We had a rush session from about 9 a.m. in the morning to the actual approval, which happened about 5 p.m. of trying to go through all these documents and understand who this guy is, how is he a reasonable person. And then the weird part is Alexis Choya, he's from Toronto. But more interestingly, he's a French prof from Toronto, and that meant that all of his content was not in English. So it was fun. Advocacy-wise, the interesting one that just happened was dealing with VPAs. So met a bunch of them and getting them to attend SUC, Senate Undergrad, which was kind of fun. We were starting to talk about the process of standardizing how large a course is. So is a course just a course? Is a course plus a lab? Is a course of a course plus a lab plus a tutorial? How many things is a course? What is a credit? And trying to have things be approximately the same size. So there's a lot of feedback from the associate deans that they didn't like the idea of credits going between faculties, but at least within the same faculty, having a major be roughly the same number of courses from one major to another major, and a minor roughly the same number of credits, course credits, right? The Lego model, as they call it, because they're trying to build stuff with it. I've met with Chris Reed, I think once, but I haven't met with him twice in my role. But since like last time we talked in this setting, everybody, and there's some stuff going on with ancillaries. This is something that the societies have brought up a lot. That they're frustrated with the ancillary pricing. Ancillaries are operations of the university that don't deal with the academic mission. So things like food services, housing, and these guys run in a different model. They run with different financing. And that's something that I've had a lot of complaints from presidents about because it's kind of expensive. It's not super happy. Talked with the co-op office. I know that a lot of this is through Teresa and so with Jay about getting some of their problems solved. We finally got them compliant on something that they were supposed to be compliant on in 2018. 35% compliant on something they're supposed to be compliant on in 2018. So it's an improvement, but it's an uphill battle. One of the things I did today that was quite nice, and I thought about doing it, in fact, in the territorial acknowledgement, was I have continued talking with the Indigenous office, learning about engaging with Indigenous students and involving them in planning. So looking forward, they're groups that have lived on this land and that continue to live on this land and making sure that they have a say in what that space looks like in the future. That was really nice. They renovated, and I discovered that they have a Tim Hortons in EC5. It's just like one person there. You go through like a couple of corridors in like this old BlackBerry building, and bam, Tim Hortons. Weird. I was shocked. I took a photo of it. It's not in my presentation. Yeah, that was kind of nice. Talked with Preka from FAO. He's the FAO president. FAO is the Faculty Association. So he's like my counterpart, but for the older adults on campus, which I guess is the meanest way possible to say props. And then, sorry. And then the last one that I'm highlighting for this slide is talking with Bike Center, and they're all going, they're good, fine, they're good. That was nice. I was worried that the Bike Center would have problems, but apparently not. Everybody was happy, and it's spring, so everybody wants to use it. It was great. That was an awesome hour of my time. Just everything was going well. Everyone was having a fun time. They're like, yeah, no, we used to have problems, and it seems like they worked out. Great, excellent. What great news to resort. Nothing else there. Last of the relationship things was starting the town and gout committee, which is sometimes with Aria, sometimes without Aria, depending on how busy he is and whether or not he's even in the city. And then there were a couple of other things that we're going to a little bit more specifically. Goldie Gill, doing some food insecurity things. Me and Aria are even going to a conference on figuring out how Concordia, right, was doing, yeah, he's nodding. There are food insecurity problems, and it's something that's come up a lot. It's really quite a substantial impact on campus. It uses up a lot of health resources. It uses up a lot of our resources. It uses a lot of the graduate student associations resources. So it's pretty significant. A lot of people don't have enough food to focus in class. Oh, no, that like genuinely massive problem. One of the largest facing campuses at the moment. About on par with housing, if not slightly more pressing, because people need food a little bit more than they need places to sleep. Not a lot more, but a little bit more. So that was crazy. I did a lot of appointments to committees, but you're familiar with that. You helped a lot today. And the big one that I'm seeing as a personal win is getting you to attend board meetings of other societies instead of being. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate it. I'm not going to attend those. So hopefully you guys will get to most of them or some of them. And then the last one that I'll highlight for now is continuing to talk to the Secretariat about getting the ombudsperson process completed. That's something that I'm hoping we'll see moved from middle column to left column as soon as possible. They shouldn't be affected by the hiring freeze, but even though people keep saying they are, they shouldn't be. We've already talked this through. I don't know. Every time I see her, same line. Hey, how's the ombudsperson happening? And this happens about twice a week. So I've been keeping the pressure medium, but I am feeling frustrated as all of the previous presidents who've been doing this process have been feeling frustrated. Especially Rory, where they're like, oh yeah, we found somebody, and then they pulled out last second. So I'm so sorry, Rory. What's up, Jay?
Was it a responsibility to use for the ombudsperson over the years?
Pardon?
What's the responsibility of hiring?
Yeah. So the Secretariat is supposed to be like the impartial body that the university has. So their job is often associated with finding neutral parties. So the ombudsperson would be part of the Secretariat crew in the future. So they're in charge of hiring them. Because in theory, the Secretariat is independent. So in theory, the ombudsperson would be independent, and they are paid at the moment half by student fees, half by the university, in the sort of middle ground role that occurs at lots of other schools. Am I wrong, Alex? You look worried.
No. You're good.
Okay. And the last thing is related to town and gown. Here's a fun photograph as appropriate, which is a photo of a region that I'm going to bring up in town and gown because I'm annoyed by it. But hey, it would be great if between Leicester and Phillip, you could just you didn't have to walk all the way around. And they have an empty lot connecting to WCRI, who's in the past expressed that they would be okay with a connection. Why is there even a fence here? It's empty lot with a fence on one side. Annoys me, but getting the resources there and understanding what an easement looks like, how we can substantially reduce the commutes of a ridiculous number of students on campus. That was the other thing about Indigenous Office, was talking about where do students get to campus, which is a lot more specific. But yeah, generally from that side of campus is where the majority of students get here. And unless they live on Phillip, they have to go all the way around, which is something that maybe not enough people have noticed. But if there's just a cut through, people will make their own cut throughs. If there was just a cut through, it's just a little hole. Just a little hole. Everybody would save a lot of time.
Phillip fence where Res 1 is.
Yeah. Did you notice that they started adding spikes to Res 1's fencing? Those were retrofitted too. Insane. Anyways, that's going to come up, but that's all for now. That's my report from the past 2 weeks. Do you have questions for me? Teresa, you got, oh wow, okay, hold on. Hello, Teresa, what's your question? We'll start there.
Not a question, maybe just as a buffer from the grilling you're about to receive. I speak as a director and not your friend. I appreciate the emphasis that you're putting on praxis and being on the ground with students and directly interacting with our membership, because that, I think everyone in the room can agree, a big problem WUSA is facing now is our visibility, our closeness to the constituency. And I think you've been doing a really good job trying to bridge that gap. So keep it up, Nick.
Where's the grilling?
I say it was a buffer for the grilling I'm sure you're about to receive from others.
From Alex?
I don't know.
From Matthew? I forget which one of you put your hand up. Matthew? Yeah. What's your comment, Matthew? Do you have questions?
I was actually going to say the exact same thing. It's,
oh, damn.
It's really good that you're going around doing
very smooth there, Teresa.
And also, thank you for making a presentation and presenting it. I think that was really insightful and it only took 5 minutes for us to watch.
most of what I've been worrying about.
All right, you did a good job too. Don't worry. You did a good job too.
I decided to put maybe a bit too much effort into this one. This is very good. Thank you.
It's a reusable template.
It is a reusable template, so you're going to see the exact same template. It's not going to change. So for now, it's impressive, but like later, it's boring. All right, cool. That's my updates. Let's continue on the agenda, which is into confidential. So we're going to kick out various people as appropriate. Sorry. Okay, can I get a motion to enter confidential? Saying Alex. Seconded, Maricini. Sorry, Matthew. Any conversation on that before we go about the process of removing everybody who does not need to be here? Okay. Sorry, I assume that passed. I really should have checked, but I was very frustrated by the process. Sorry. Thank you. Okay. To those joining us, which I assume is probably 0.
Oh, yeah.
It's 2 people. Hi, 2 people. We just had a extended conversation about a petition that you probably are aware about. The exact minutes are not necessarily available because a lot of it deals with various documents that we received from consultants. A rough summary is we're now at the point that we are voting to move the petition to the Elections and Referenda Committee to generate an acceptable wording and begin the referendum process. I think that is the catch up for those joining us online.
It was us too. It was us on.
It's just you 2?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I didn't realize. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Okay.
I can confirm Nush is also watching.
All right, 3. We have 3 to Nush. That's where we're at, Nush. That's where we're at, Nush. Okay, so we've had a request for a blind vote, which I think is perfectly warranted. And I assume we have no more discussion. So technically, the question was only called on the first thing.
Yeah, we didn't even vote on it. We should get 2/3, but consensus. Yeah.
It's fine. Okay. Well, are we ready to vote on that? How do we do the blind vote? Because that was the
Right on paper. Right on paper.
right on paper.
Grab paper.
All right, we're gonna have fun with paper. Let's do some
What
paper.
about-
Okay.
One question.
Hi.
What about us in the digital world?
Sorry,
guess
are we taking
it's
the
said before,
blind
no.
vote by consensus?
Do we have to vote on blind vote? I thought that
No,
was-
like for member request, then for one member.
Yeah,
request.
it's similar to asking for an enumeration. I think it can just be requested by anyone. It doesn't even need a second.
Gotcha.
I know it's more complicated, but it is fine. And then after that, we have Suzanne's update because I skipped it earlier.
But this is 2.
I got 2.
You've been waiting.
What's your reply?
Your update. God. What's your two?
What's your 2?
Oh, you're the Rossi. Okay. Sorry, I just wanted to check in with Jay. Is there, I guess you don't have to answer this, but is there anything in the vote that you feel uncomfortable taking a stand? Like, I just want to know where you come from.
It's a sensitive.
This isn't like pressure.
Yeah, it's a sensitive item, so
Sorry.
it's a very sensitive item, so it's a
Okay.
it's the best. It's the best.
I don't disagree with Jay that it lets people vote without feeling pressure.
Oh yeah, I just want there's like something particular. I guess like it is inherently.
Is there like a safety aspect involved in it too?
It's public sections.
Yeah, we're in public and it's something that could be considered controversial. So it's not a terrible idea, but it is a lot more logistically hassle. So you got Brian thinking about. I assume
Later.
if you need to run to the washroom, I assume this process will take a second to get set up. Do you have a shirt on, Ari, that says
Oh my God. Yes, thank you. I was hoping somebody points that out. I do look at my shirt. It's a Coca-Cola short. Thank you, Nick. That made my day. That's fantastic. I was hoping someone would.
Not this late at night. Not this late at night.
We don't intend on doing every board meeting, do we?
No,
I didn't think so.
I wasn't aware on this.
So I.
We never extended time.
That's what we use.
Time.
There was no time set.
I tell people to use both.
That's sneaky. Well, of course you can. Oh, do you want a marker?
Oh, you want to Is that a legitimate?
Muji Star closed down this for a while.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
You know Muji?
Yeah.
Everyone, I thought this was
Yeah.
not special. Do you know about Muji? Okay.
Amazon has some good ones.
All right. I don't
Yes or no?
know how to handle this online. Also, we're missing at least one person who we know is here. So we're
Take a message.
gonna pause for a second. It's me. I get all of the information.
Or take a message.
Okay, Mike's also got a form.
Yeah.
We trust Mike. I mean, Brian did just get all these papers, but Mike has just finished a form.
Oh.
This will not
That's
go to waste.
disrespectful. This is a ballot.
Okay, before
You can do whatever you want.
How about half of us use the paper?
I always paper. I always paper.
Okay.
Like people online can use the form. People
Yeah,
in person
that
can use
would
the
work
paper.
too.
You feel.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so just in case we're unaware, the question of the day is: be it resolved that the board directs CRC to recommend one or more wordings and timelines for a referendum.
Be an abstain option.
Yeah, Mike, there should be an abstain option online. Sorry. It is technically allowed, and it is a secret ballot, so I will insist upon it. And your options, I hope are obvious in what you've written, because it's probably 4 against and abstain is what I'm hoping to see.
Or against abstain.
Those are the 3 that you should be able to have.
Are allowed. No other responses.
I have
Even if you put yes or no, they're not accepted.
We're very serious about procedure
Yeah.
around here, guys. Very serious.
Because yes or no can mean many things.
It can.
So I'll shuffle these up.
We just like.
You also have to wait for Matthew.
Are you gonna read them out like Survivor?
4.
We could do like.
It'll be so exciting for Nush. And Nush will-
So no, because.
Or big.
If you have a piece of paper, please write either for, against, or I guess no, or abstain on it. And the question, of course, is: be it resolved that the board directs ERC to recommend one or more warnings and timelines for a referendum.
Yeah.
Yes, no.
Do you have a pen?
You know about this pen?
Oh, Nick, I never showed you this. Check this little guy out.
That's a pretty good.
I was like, you, I thought like I was onto this.
It's for against or abstain.
Mike is running things online, and also I no longer have a speaking list, which is nice. M0. They're confidential. Okay. Now I have to do some summing. So everybody, like, look that way and hope for the best.
Okay.
You guys can't see my screen, right? So if I tally things, it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotta get the angle right.
Oh Lord.
So should we be looking away from the screen at this time?
Just mine. Just my screen. You can look at the big screen, but my screen specifically.
Yo, I'm gonna turn your camera on. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Just to say hi to you, Teresa.
I can't do it the way Nush does. Like when he hammers at his chest, it genuinely echoes. I don't know how he does it.
I would like to say that Nush can, in fact, hear you right now.
I know.
We're getting roommates.
And
Yes,
they were
the only
roommates?
person watching online is Emma's roommate.
Nice. I don't even know.
But he wasn't privy to the confidential session, though, right? Right?
Oh, you didn't have him in there for
Yeah,
confidential,
of
right?
course. No, he was in his WEEF meeting anyway.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's it.
Nush is on
Who's
WeForward.
watching that?
I wonder what he thinks about us openly talking about him.
Let's all make fun of Nush really hard.
His peasant talk.
To be
In
clear, that is
public
that is a
on the
religious
official
garb.
record?
That is a religious garb.
I am aware, but he looks like a peasant.
He's just a slender fellow.
Wait, who was roommates with Nush?
My friend Nush. They're both in Ottawa right now for Cole.
And these results directly to Mr. Mike so that it does not appear in the chat. Because otherwise, it just ruins the point of having a blind ballot. Okay. Chat. Where's Mike's chat? You guys can't see this, right? Yeah, Mike can't see it. Okay, good. Trying to take this seriously. Hey, Shevin voted. Thanks, Shevin. Okay. We have, is that all of the votes, Mike? You got all of them in? That's only 11 votes. Okay, we still have one more. I voted as well. Yeah. So we're missing one vote.
Oh, Mike's saying sorry, I need to.
Yeah. And I guess we shred these. Shred it.
I mean, it doesn't matter. We don't know each other's handwriting, so.
Yeah, but there's pen colors. And so
You could test for the Muji ink. Oh, brother.
I feel like you're.
How many people use Muji ink?
Thanks, Brian. Okay. We have the sum, which Mike can feel free to read off. or I can read it off. Cool. Okay, cool. We have the results of the vote. We have 11 votes for the motion of sending the petition to ERC and 1 abstention.
Oh, okay.
So the motion carries, and we move on to the last item of our agenda, I think, right? This is the last item. We're so close to the end. Hey, Suzanne, what's your update?
So Mike, can you pull up my PowerPoint I sent you just a second ago? Joke, and I didn't do it. So it's just my quick report that I've got there. I can go over it if you want. It's just really high level piece of information about working on whoever's working on that budget and the annual operating plan to bring to board. I did put /July, so I will note that depending on things that started to happen. So that might take some of our time and our focus away from getting this as quickly as we wanted to, but we'll continue to work on it and look for some budget meetings that Mike is going to help me book in so you can have some conversations about the budget, which I know Mike you really are looking forward to.
Oh, I'm super excited about it.
Planning goes with that. Just highlighting we focus on transition, and then we've got the budget to actual for publications, and I think you can probably adjourn unless you have questions.
I apologize once again for skipping your portion of the agenda. Well, now we have notices of motion, which we have none, and adjournment. No, announcements, which we have none, and adjournment, which I am looking for a mover on. And Jay is second. Is anybody against us going home? Anybody at all? Even an abstention? All right, cool. I'm going to assume that passes unanimously. Good night, everybody. Oh, Chevin said something. Hold on. Chevin had one thing, just in case. It's probably nothing.
2024.
Should I ignore whatever Chevin said? Yeah.
Board meeting, 2024.
All right, cool. Good night, everybody online. Thanks for coming.
Bye. Take care, everybody.
You guys, God knows when.
By the way,
My life.
we